taking the game for Savannah, number 12, Louisiana champions. Greensboro foul number 1, Tiana Jones-Bell, her first.
I guess first for Lasha, just your thoughts on this game. I know you had two big steals there late, you know, to kind of help kind of put it away. I think you had 3 on the game, but you know, just your thoughts on the game. How does it feel to kind of break the the 5-game losing streak?
Yeah, I think it felt good to get back in the win column for sure. I thought we played really well together as a team. We had 12 assists, 14 turnovers, but it felt like we had more. Like, we shared the ball well. I think we just missed some shots. Like, it felt like everybody got touches and we really played together offensively and defensively. We followed the scout pretty good. So, yeah.
52 points coming from the bench. Take me through what that's like to be able to see the bench come in like that.
I came off the bench. Honestly, like, we have a whole roster, so like the bench is always ready. So we just got to go in the game and match the same intensity. I feel like we did a great job with that today.
And what was that mindset? I guess perfectly for you. Go 19-9 off the bench like that.
Just a dog mentality. Like, anytime I'm on the floor, just playing my best, like being better than the next person. Honestly.
What was that like with the energy with this crowd today?
Oh, I love the energy. I love the kids. I love kids. I'm all for the kids, so I love having them there.
Can you kind of walk me through that third quarter? I think the stat she said you guys held them to 25% from the floor. I think they only scored 10 points, and most of those came really late in the quarter. But how big was that third quarter as you guys looking to win this game? Because it's only a 2-point game at the half.
We really focused really well on our defense. The last couple of games, once we lost, we haven't been really doing good on defense. So today we really like focused in on that, and our offense just came like naturally.
I know, like, a thing Coach keeps talking about is the team being young. Like, how do you guys feel like you grew today?
I think as more and more time goes by, we're all learning and we're all starting to like really get to know each other a lot better and like get comfortable with each other on the floor. It's still like, I know it's not too early, but it's still like early in the season. We got a lot of games left, so I think our vets Q I think does a great job of leading the team. She's a real good leader, and then Nudie coming in, being an old head, like she just she keeps the team together. I think we looked at our vets for everything, but we got some real smart young players too, so it makes it easy.
How big is it for this team to find production, I guess, in the paint, and then with that drawing fouls? I mean, you guys had 32 free throws today.
Honestly, we feel like we have an advantage inside in the paint. So anytime that we're doing good inside, we continue to go to the inside. That makes sense, and it just keeps working. And like we just go aggressive. So that's where the fouls came from. So we just got on the line today.
Our shots weren't falling too good, so we knew we had to get in there.
And Group's head coach just said that you guys seem like you're a completely different team since the time that you guys played them about a month ago. What has changed, do you think, with this team from a player perspective?
Can you repeat the question?
Just like how have you guys developed, I guess, within the past month? I mean, you guys on paper and like seeing them in person, coaches seem like you guys are a completely different team by, I guess, the style of play that you play with.
Yeah, I think we just are trying to like still figure out new people on the roster. I think that changed, and we're still trying to get to know each other. But I think even last game, I know it was a loss, but we still looked better and like we got to know each other better. And then this game, it like just carried over. So just one game at a time.
We get better every day.
Yeah,
so it's starting to show.
Yeah.
Lasha, you only had 6 points at the half, but you finished with 19, so 13 points in the second half. You know, did you change your mindset at halftime or anything?
I think that's kind of happened to me a couple times where I'll like go scoreless at the half and then figure it out in the second. I think I'm the type of player to like try to be patient and like figure out what the defense is doing, and then eventually it just kind of like opens up and take what they give me. So yeah.
Lasha, for you, what was that like, having all the kids in attendance and a little fiery?
One time they screamed so loud, I'm like, what happened? I turned around like, whoa. And they kind of got there a little late too, like the big crowd. So I was like, where did y'all come from? It was cool. Yeah, it was definitely cool to have all that energy. I was wondering why nobody told me we had a kids game.
I didn't know either.
I should have known if it was a noon game. So that was nice to have for sure.
Coming into the game tonight, I know rebounding and minimizing turnovers was a big topic. So how happy are you with the team's response to that?
I thought it was a little better. Like, obviously it's not going to be perfect coming out the first time. Looking at it, we still gave up 11 offensive rebounds, which against a higher scoring offensive team is too many. And we still ended the game with 14 turnovers. So a little less than what we normally do, like in our losses, but those two will continue to be a focal point for us moving forward. Because as you can see, when we shrink those down, we look like a completely different team.
And then that third quarter, they only scored, I think 10 points, held us 25% shooting, and it was a 2-point game at the half. Like, you know, what was the message at halftime, and then how would you assess the defense in that third quarter?
I thought the defense was good. You know, I thought Lasha with her late on Diamond Johnson, who was the league's leading scorer, continues to be great for us. You know, like Lay is a baller, so her length, I think, gave Diamond a fit. We still let a couple of other people go off, but we tried to keep Diamond for sure at bay. And, you know, I'm sure some of it attests to their travel schedule, but I just thought that our ladies were hungry. You know, they were hungry and desperate for a win, and they weren't leaving that court without a win today.
Can you talk about Zee and just kind of what she's meant, especially for today, to be able to come off the bench like that and dominate, go 19-9?
Yeah, I mean, she's figuring it out, and it's such a joy to see. As you can see, she's a bubbly little thing, and I think she's starting to figure out the physicality and what it is that we expect from her and what it is we want to continue to see for her professional career. And she's getting better every single day, just like she said. You know, when she was leaving out this room, coach, see you in practice tomorrow, right back to work. You know, like that hunger and that drive is there, and I think the more she starts to figure it out and have games like this, the hungrier she's going to get.
Goes without saying, but how nice is it to get back in the win streak after having, or in the win column after a 5-game
It feels good, you know. I mean, it feels good, but obviously not satisfied. You know, I continue to want these ladies to have an amazing experience, like they're pioneers in something that's really, really cool, like being a part of this Upshot League. So those smiles and those laughters that I saw in the locker room today, regardless of what that scoreboard is, like I continue to want to see that moving forward, and I want to see the progress from each and every one of them, like what I'm seeing in Z and some of the other ones in the locker room as well.
And obviously you're going to get real comfortable with Greensboro, so take me through what's that like to be able to kind of be on a stretch, this group.
Yeah, I think this group is used to stretches, right? Probably used to stretches and being on the road. So again, like the focal point will continue to remain on us. You know, it's always been that way. We preach every single day about the controllables, and I thought today that we locked in on that. We locked in on the controllables, focusing in on what we can control, and as you can see, we all love the result.
Not to go back to the losing streak, but were you worried about, you know, I guess the team getting like maybe a little down because they had lost 5 in a row, and how were you able to keep their spirits up?
Was I worried? No. I wasn't worried because we have talented group, but again, it's, you know, we've added 3 new additions, so it's the integration. You know, I've done some things as a head coach to try to minimize and simplify that transition for a lot of them trying to figure each other out. You know, it's literally, this is our roster, but it's literally just put together, maybe 2 weeks that we've officially been together. So maybe a little behind the 8 ball there in regards to Jacksonville, but talent-wise, the talent is there. And my message to them was the more we can continue to, actually have practices and in games like this and learn each other and doing stuff outside of the court, that chemistry will get better. And once that chemistry gets better, it could be really scary. So was I worried? No.
And then where would you say they are in terms of like learning your offense? They did look like sometimes, you know, there was some like miscommunication, like, oh, you're supposed to be there, oh, I'm supposed to be here. Like, where would you say they are?
Not really sure of the gauge on that, but I would say that they're getting more comfortable, you know. And so again, it's, hey, these are the offenses, the focal point for this game, you know, not giving them the entire playbook or coming out of a timeout, hey, like, this is the play that we want to execute on, whether they're in a 3-2, which Greensboro plays, or if they're in a man. So I think they're starting to get more comfortable with that, and more importantly, they're starting to get more comfortable with the reads. Goes back to our turnovers. Will continue to be a focal point. I think I said that even at the home opener. Just part of being a pro, like being able to make the right read and play under control at your own pace. And I think we'll continue to get better with that.
Early on in the season, you guys were right there, like to the very end, in some games where you had to pull out a late win or something like that. Mm-hmm. You led for like 95% of this game. So I guess what was that like to not exactly be back on your heels too much, but to be able to know that you're playing with a lead a little bit?
For me, no difference. You know, I guess you just got to understand how I coach. Like I coach possessions. You know, rarely do I look at the scoreboard unless it's time scored, but I'm focused in on that possession. If it's defensively, were we where what we needed to be? If it's offensively, did we get a good look? Did the ball find an open person? So I'm always one possession at a time. And so, you know, yes, I knew that we were up, but I didn't want the players to know that. It was multiple times at a time out, I'm telling them, hey, the score's 0-0, because that's just how my brain works.